Have you been sitting on the sidelines? You've been thinking about buying a home, but you've been holding off? Now is your time. Do not do what so many people do and say, I'm going to wait till springtime. It is so busy in the spring. That's when everybody comes out. They've gotten their tax money. It's warmer weather. Now all of a sudden they're going out looking at homes where there's 20, 30 offers. I don't know if exactly that many, but way more offers than we're getting in the wintertime. Usually late March, beginning of April is when that picks up. So now is your time. Act. Get ahead of it. Reach out to your agent, talk to your lender to get your pre-approval in place, or if you're paying cash, make sure you have everything set up so you're ready to go. When that property pops up, or something you've been watching on the market, because there's quite a bit that's sitting a little bit longer. It's taking longer to sell through the winter months. That's normal. We've had cold weather, we've had snow. Been a lot different winter than we've had the last couple years. So recapping December of 24, let me give you some highlights of what came out of that. In Harford County, sales were up 50% over prior year, which is substantial. The year before we only had 182. Now we were at 273. Baltimore County was up 11%, up to 700 sales. But one of the big things I'm telling you about buying now, inventory is such an important factor. Active listings. Harford County has 345 active. Comparatively, our 5-year average, if you look back to like 2019, 20 on up, we are 242. So it's 142% of what our 5-year average. I remember at the beginning of last year, we were going through like January and February of 24. We had 200 homes roughly on the market in Harford County. Now we're up really closer to what's active and coming soon, closer to 400. It's saying active at 345. And then Baltimore County at 908 versus 776. That's almost 120% of what the 5-year average. Cecil County is about 111% at 198. So just more inventory than we've had in quite a while. So take advantage of that. Watch the days on market. Something's been sitting a while, go in with a lower offer. Sometimes they take it, sometimes they don't, but it never hurts to ask. List to sell ratios, 98, 99% is where we're seeing. So we were seeing upwards through COVID, 101, 102, 104%. I think the highest one I seen was like 104.7 as the average. You would see sometimes 20% over on a list price. I mean, substantially over list price. So good news is you're getting a little bit of wiggle room in there now. People are still overpricing. Sellers, important for you to pay attention. You are, this last couple years, year and a half, because of high interest rates, beauty contests and pricing war. They are looking at comparable sales way more than ever. 21 and 22, there was such limited inventory. People would put a house on the market. It didn't matter what the comps were. There was very few homes to choose from. Supply and demand, they're going to pay a lot more for it. Supply is increasing, so the demand's been decreasing with the 7% interest rates. We're seeing, I had somebody this week that got just under 6% on an FHA loan. Government backed is a little bit better. So just know that like seeing a 5.99, that's good news. I think this year, again, it's going to come down slightly. It's not going to be a huge, we're not seeing down 3-4%. We're not seeing 2% again, but we're probably going to be in the upper 5s to 6%. We've been hovering Fed rates around 7% right now, just so you have an idea where mortgage rates are. So things are getting better. They're still not, you're not out of the woods. Affordability is still a little high because of prices being high and interest rates. Eventually that settles down. You can refinance. You've heard over the years, date the rate. That's not what I'm telling you, but know that it's coming. If you're selling a house and buying a house, save some of your down payment to make up that difference. That way it offsets. It's not as bad a big a chunk when you're having that increase in payment, but ultimately it is still a make me move market, meaning you have to have enough pain in your life to make you move. You're not just moving and saying, hey, I want to upgrade my house or I want to downgrade. There's usually something, hey, I need to get away from stairs. If we're aging, I know I'm getting to that point of, as I'm getting older, my wife's health conditions, hey, I want to get to a 1-floor living at some point. We'll work our way to that. That's one of the things. I think of grandkids. Grandparents are relocated, maybe moved away. Now they're moving back to get closer to the grandkids. We're seeing people, getting married. They're upsizing. First-time homebuyers buying. The rents keep increasing. Rents have not changed. They're still continuing to increase here. Different parts of the country have settled down. And I'm mainly talking local market. This is what's going on here in Maryland, in Baltimore, Harford, Cecil County, that Baltimore region. So just so you have an idea, we've seen other places. Florida slowed down significantly. They were having 900 people a day move to Florida through 21 and 22. That's changed. A lot of stuff's been sitting, taking longer to sell. You have insurances that are way high because of flooding and hurricanes and stuff like that. So just different things that are impacting the U.S. The other thing is people going back to physically go back to work from home. Now you're starting to see people that are being called back in 3 days a week. Sometimes it can be up to 5 days a week. You heard, with the government's like, oh, we're coming back to work, meaning they're coming back to office. So if you've moved away, you may need to relocate back to Maryland. We're here to help you if so. But these are things that are making people move. So I hope these stats will help you if you have questions in reference to buying or selling and negotiating through these things, because that's ultimately what it all comes down to, is how do you get through the process? Meaning, hey, I have a home to sell. We're seeing some home sale contingencies work. We're seeing some kickouts. So I don't know if you guys know what a kickout is. A kickout would be somebody is contingent on selling their home. They put an offer in, the seller accepts it because they haven't had any other offers on their home. They're willing to accept it with a kickout, meaning it's usually 72-hour kickout. They accept that offer. Now somebody else comes along and says, hey, I'm non-contingent. I do not need to sell a home to buy this house. The seller wants to accept it. They give notice to that original buyer. They have 72 hours to remove that contingency of either get financing without having to sell their home, paying cash from family members, whatever it may be, or they get an offer on their home and then they can move forward. We weren't hearing much of that. We're starting to hear that over the last 4 or 5 months. That's what comes through the wintertime. When it gets in the spring market, don't expect it. So now is your time. If you have questions about how do you work through these things, give us a call here at the office. We're happy to answer them, help you guide and give you guidance to get through this process. It's a big move anytime you're buying and selling, or if you're selling and downsizing, you're relocating areas, you're moving here to the area. We have a ton of YouTube videos to try to give you neighborhood information and so forth. So if you need any help, we're happy to help. 410-638-9555. Hope you have an amazing day.